Today I will take you through the process of me making over my crafty space, my sewing room, office, as well as my husband's office and guest bedroom. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who needs their crafty space to have many other functions than their craft of choice. For full transparency, I actually made over this space and filmed everything over a year ago. I actually filmed everything pre-March 2020, but for some reason I never got around to edit and share this footage with you. As I'm planning to declutter and improve this space further, I thought I should share with you what I have already done to this space to make it both pretty and functional for me. Hi, my name is Matilda and welcome back to Miss Matti, the channel where I share DIY videos on sewing, knitting, mending and generally how to live an awesome and sustainable life. And if that sounds like something for you, please consider hitting the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you will not miss any upcoming videos from me, including that upcoming craft room organization video. Today I'm taking you through the process of me making over my multifunctional sewing space. And when I started to film this video in autumn of 2019, my goal was that I was going to make over this space as much as possible on a budget, using mostly things that I already have and buy as little as possible. And the other goal I set for myself was to make this both functional and pretty at the same time. Over 2 years ago, I made another sewing room organization video. And if you're interested to watch that video, I will link it up in the cards as well as in the description box down below. At that time of making that video, my goal was to take my space from a complete mess to workable condition. And now I will hand it over to past Matilda, who will explain the thought process of making over this space further. Since I made those changes, I really have evaluated my working style, what works and doesn't work, and I hope to, in the next coming month, that I will be able to make my space a bit more workable for me. The printer clippings used to clean. Oh. Why are you cleaning when I'm filming? Anyhow. Okay, when are you done? Oh, it's done now. Okay. Alright. The challenge is to make this on a budget without buying too much new things, and I know definitely I would like to buy a pegboard and a few other things like that to make my space a bit easier to work with, but I'm trying to work with mainly what I have. That's the challenge, and see if what I can make with the space so it actually works for me. Before I start to film my cleaning progress today, I'm gonna show you what we're working with so you know what I started out with. So this is my desk. I really do ideally want to remove the printer that made the cleaning noises earlier, because I need more space for like pattern cutting. I wanna like ideally remove as much as possible like this stuff from the desk, so that I'm planning to put a pegboard here. So this mirror here, hello. Planning to maybe put it here or in the walk-in closet over here. We'll see. My other knitting machine, as well as the legs for the one underneath the desk. This sofa needs its cover on because I haven't put it back on. And this part is just a complete, that's my husband's messy desk that he has to deal with himself. I'm planning to move these shelves to another part of the apartment, and then I have this Ever bookshelf from IKEA that I'm planning to put there instead. And then it's my walk-in closet as well as storage of a lot of other things. So this is the cover for the sofa. Here are some of my other sewing machines and things. A lot of my fabrics and work in progress right now. So that's it for today. I'm sure it will look so much better once I completed the tasks that I set myself for the month. But I'm much happier because it doesn't look like a complete mess at least. It looks a little bit tighter. I finally yesterday went to Home Depot. See here, this is what I got from Home Depot. I will show you more properly what it is. So I got a piece of pegboard, and then I got this piece of plywood, which I'm gonna make a pressing board with today. So what this pressing board is gonna replace is this solution, which is the towel solution. It's not the best, but it has worked. Now I will show you the process of me making my own pressing board. To make my own pressing board, I followed a tutorial by Leah Day here on YouTube, and I will link to her tutorial in the description box down below. And now, without further ado, let's get into making a pressing board. And now, when my pressing board is complete, I will hand over the pass to Matilda again, who will explain further what else I got to make over this space. And then I got paint. And so I got primer and a really lovely blue shade. I'm gonna show it to you later because we're gonna paint on raw wood. And I got rollers, this, and 2 trays. So I will open this in a bit, or I will do the priming today, so I will get to show you the actual color later on in this video. The walls are white, so it's gonna be quite airy and bright, but I wanted to add some fun color to this room. So this chair and the Matthew Williamson fabric on the chair, I let to be the base of the color scheme for the room, especially because I made this basket in the past, and then I made this tailor's ham and tailor sausage with the same fabric, which if you look here is very similar to the blue here. Bookshelf would be this color, so this is what I'm going for: white, turquoise, teals, dark navy blue. And as I have told you before, the bookshelf will go here. So this one here is one of the shelves from the bookshelf that I'm gonna paint. And the plan is that I will start priming all the pieces individually. I think it will make the whole process smoother and easier to do so. I started by priming all the shelves as well as the side units, as they were all made of untreated pine. Once the primer had fully dried, it was time to start painting the shelves and the side units with a blue color. And look how good the blue color turned out. And this is how the shelf looks assembled together in my sewing space. And this is how the other corner of the room looks so far. So a lot of things has already happened since the last time I updated you. As you can see, the shelf is fully up, although some of that's gonna be a little bit changed, as well as way more items that are gonna go in here, and that's gonna make a huge difference to all the clutter that's going on in here. Also, you can see here we moved the sofa towards this side of the wall, but I'm considering, because my husband came up with this idea to move my desk over there towards here, and that way I could potentially have a bigger pegboard. So I could actually have 2 of these up here, which would enable me to actually have more things hanging on the wall. I do not know if you follow Clutterbug, but this test where you can see which organizational style you are. And I think it's grasshopper, butterfly, ladybug, bee? I think I've forgotten completely which the 4th one is. So I'm a ladybug, and ladybugs like a simple system, but I like it tucked away. Problem is right now that a lot of times when I'm tucking things away, it's not in a simple system and easy accessible, and also certain things I do actually prefer to be visible. And for example, that's my tools that I'm using all the time, so therefore I like the idea of having the pegboard. I think the style I got as a second is to be a bit more complex but visible system. And my husband, I think he is a clear butterfly. He likes it visible and simple. So this is of course both of our room. It's both his office and mine. All my organization I'm trying to focus on here, it's the simple stuff and making it easily accessible for me when I'm working on a day-to-day basis. If it's stuff I'm not using that often, I don't care if it's tucked away a little bit more, just as long as I know where it is. So I also have got, since the last update, this one over here. And you might wonder what I'm doing with a coat rack in here. Good question. So the reason why I got myself a coat rack is that I'm gonna make my own custom dress form. And then you needed a coat rack for the bottom. I think it said when I started to make this that I was gonna be done within a month. I think we are on month 3, so it's really time to get this organized. Before I show you how the space turned out, let's look back how the space looked when we started. And now let's get back to how it looked like in February 2020. I'm so excited to show you how my space has turned out. I made a couple of changes around 2 weeks ago and I haven't shown you yet. I would almost call it transformational because I used to not feel very inspired to work in my space, which was a huge issue, and also the reason why I decided that I needed to do this reorganization, right? And now what's really been so transformative with making over this space is that I feel actually inspired to work here. I feel like it's a space where I can go and create, and that is the main goal, right, with our creative spaces. That we want it to be a space where we feel inspired, it works with our working style. But let's just show you where I'm at and what I've done since I last updated you. I can't speak today, clearly. So this is a backdrop stand. So these are lampshades that we had for our grow lights that we're currently not using. So I'm using them with our Philips Hue bulbs, which is great because I can adjust the lighting as I want to do. If I need to have it much more cool light. At the moment it's actually blue. I don't know if you can see. I thought it looked really nice with the blue and this for the video as a background. Anyhow, I can adjust the lighting as I need. This has been the biggest thing because I have been struggling so much with light, especially now in the winter. One sad thing though was that I thought, and this is a tip for you, if you do adopt this system to have a backdrop stand on top of your desk, is that you shouldn't only think just about the bar here and the distance and compare that with your desk. You should also think about how much space the legs of your backdrop stand takes and all the other space you need around it, because sadly mine doesn't fully fit. I don't know if you can see up here is actually where one of the ends is at the moment. There and underneath here is my sewing machine. I'm just trying to protect it with a sheet that I had around, and that is just to make sure that it's not getting too dusty. So I'm just so happy with how this shelf has turned out. I have my ongoing projects here, my sewing box, some of my reference materials over here. I really love that there's some plants in here and some decorative items to make it look really beautiful. I think that makes a difference in here as well, to have something like greenery and plants. And we still have some more space. I have an idea to maybe put some crates with some yarns that inspire me or something like that in it later on. We'll see how that goes. I should have followed Leah's advice, I must say. I got by mistake a thinner piece of plywood, and so it's bent like this. And also she recommended to use a canvas because she said a lot about the fabrics were like too soft, and I totally understand why. It's a little bit too soft. It has been great to use because before I didn't have an ironing board or a pressing board, and now I do, so that's a huge difference. But next time if I do decide to go and get another of these pegboards, I will get a thicker board and I will also get some canvas. This is stuff that needs to get up. I have a whiteboard that I'm planning on putting up here as well on the wall. And this is my rolling cart that needs still organization, but as I said, that will be done when the pegboard is getting properly sorted. I hope you enjoyed following the process of me making over this space. During this process, I learned a few tips and tricks on how to make over this space on a budget. Number 1, move furniture around. You have probably already heard this tip several times before, and some of you might be even like, that old tip again. But trust me, if you are on a budget, moving furniture around can make all the difference. My first step in getting new ideas on how to place furniture is to look at Pinterest. That way I can see what others have done and get some more ideas on what I can do in my space. But I often find that I get stuck in my head. Am I the only one who does this? So I have these very stuck certain ideas that certain pieces of furniture should go in a certain location, or that I should move it to a certain location, and vice versa. So I actually find it really helpful to ask someone for a second opinion. Because I think sometimes when we are in a space a lot, we can easily be blinded to the potential of that space. So ask your family and friends for input. And if you're like me in third lockdown or whatever number of lockdown you're in right now, you might not be able to have people coming over to your space, but take a video, take some photos and share it with someone who you trust will give you a good input on what you can do to your space. I also find it very helpful for my own brain to take photos of my space and see it through that lens. And also I sometimes do draw on photos to like sort of visualize what furniture pieces could go there, what would work in that space. So that's also something else you can try out. And as you noticed throughout this video, I actually got some great inputs from my husband regarding this space. For example, to move my desk to this area here and move the sofa over to the other side, as well as painting the shelf over there blue. I originally thought it was going to be white, and I'm so happy I didn't go for that. But I was so stuck on the idea of having white. And then he said, no, I think you should have a color. What about blue? And that actually helped a lot to have that input. And also remember, you're just moving furniture around. If it doesn't work out, you can move it back. It's not that big of a deal. Just try things out. If it doesn't work, you can move it back. Number 2, do not buy all the things. Like, don't go out and buy cute storage containers, nifty gadgets for organizing, especially not before you have evaluated your organizational style, how you work, and decluttered your space. It can be so tempting to buy a lot of cute things for your sewing space, especially when you see all of these Pinterest-worthy, Instagram-worthy sewing spaces. But remember, it's more important to have a functional sewing space for you than something that looks good in photos. And honestly, most fashion designers and seamstresses whose sewing spaces I've been to in person, they're quite simple. I don't think majority of them have these Instagram-worthy and Pinterest-worthy rooms. They just make sure that they have a space that works for them. Also, I made a video recently on 7 helpful sewing tools that I think you should make instead of buying. And if you're interested, check that video out. I will link it up in the cards as well as in the description box down below, so you can check that video out if you haven't already. Number 3, reuse things you already have in a new way. For example, the Eva bookshelf, which I made over in this video, used to be tucked away in a cupboard. And now it is on display and painted blue. So that was a new way of using something I already have. Another thing I reused in a new way was this bowl, or whatever you can call it, which I used to have in my living room. But then my space looked really cluttered, so I tucked it away in a cupboard until I had another use for it. And then I got the idea to put my tailor's ham and my tailor swatches in here to store them in between use. Let us all know in a comment down below, what is your best budget sewing room organizational tips? Is there anything else that you have reused in a new way that you think is a brilliant idea that you would like to share with us? Let us know in a comment down below. Also, if you have done the Clutterbug test, let me know in a comment down below which organizational style you are. And if you like this video, you most likely will like these videos over here. And until next time, bye!